Hey, what's up, everybody? Just out here, and there's a shooting range out here. Found this like a week ago. Fortunately, it's not active, which sucks because I've been looking for a shooting range. I need one. What is that saying? It's got that surveillance. And there's like cameras up there. It's probably got trail cams and all that stuff out here. Oh, there's the bike. Love that bike. It's not the best bike, but it's my bike. That bike has more miles on it than like probably 99% of all the bikes on the road now. But got some stuff to talk about. Got a little stuff to talk about. First thing I want to talk about a little bit is the time I spent as a residential counselor at an all-girls facility. So what that is a these are for kids that were, well, I mean, the facility I worked at was all girls, 12 to 18 years old. I worked there for about a year. I love those girls. I had a really hard time leaving that job, and I'm going to explain why. It's really sad. I mean, when I was leaving, I had like a handful of the girls, a little bit over a handful, say that they didn't want me to leave, that they wanted me to stay or stay as a mentor. Or, I mean, a few of them were like, can you just adopt me, please? And I cried a lot. I still cry when I think about it. It's hard to talk about because I really love those girls. It was about 20 of them. About 15 of them, I was like a father to them. We got to know each other very well, taught them a lot, and so we're talking about this LGBTQI whatever thing, right? So this place I worked at, let's talk about management. It's a non-profit, right? It's a non-profit, so it's all funded by the state, funded by federal government, state government, and so they had to act in a certain way that would appeal to the government. And the government pushes this this gay shit on everybody. You can see it in schools. You can see it through their organizations, and it just trickles down. And some of the management there was totally on board with it. The minority of them were not. I mean, well, they were more. Well, I shouldn't say not. They just went with it. They didn't really think for themselves or anything like that. Didn't really critically think about what was going on. The biggest problem was my coworkers. My coworkers, out of about 12 of us, I think myself and maybe one other person were the only straight people there. The rest of them, and the other person that was straight was, still on board with all that type of gay fag pushing type of agenda. All the other co-workers were full-blown queer, trans, they, thems. It was pathetic and sad. And these people, I found it really suspect. I knew what I was getting into when I took the job, but I didn't think it was going to be as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Because I was suspect as to why there were so many at this all-girls facility. And they had some all-boys facilities, and I came to find out that the all-boys facilities did not have this issue. I found that very suspect. And so I was, I'm like, why are there so many here? And then through the year that I was working there, I observed their tendencies, their habits, what they would say, how they would act, stuff like that. And what I came to learn is that they were there for their own validation. They were there to validate what they thought of themselves. They weren't there to help those girls. They weren't there to really try to get these girls into a better position in life. They were only there to push things onto them. And it was overt. It was overt. Because one of the things that residential counselors are responsible for is the programming for the girls for the day. Because they would go to school during the daytime. They went to a private academy that was only for them, very small school, with counselors and stuff like that there to help them out. Because these girls, just to explain real quick, these girls are highly, highly troubled, highly traumatized. The worst things that you could imagine were done to these girls. They were forced and sold into prostitution, sex trafficked, abused by their parents, by their family, by the adults in their lives, forced into drug addiction, into alcohol, into the worst environments that you could possibly imagine little girls being put into, any child. But I dealt with just young girls. And that was tough. I remember when the parents would come in to visit them, because the girls, they lived there, right? They lived at the residential facility. They were court ordered. They either ran away or the parents got caught or something. And the court had them go to this facility where they would live. And myself as a residential counselor was basically like their caretaker, kind of like a pseudo parent. And so we were in charge of their programming. We had to come up with stuff for them to do all day after school. And what I noticed is that my coworkers, they would promote gay shit. They would promote the trans stuff. They had flags, these rainbow flags up all over the place, stickers, everything. You would never see an American flag or a New Hampshire state flag, none of that stuff. Only gay flags, only fag flags. That's not good, okay? Why you gotta have those flags up? And I always brought that up with them, with management, and they also had psychologists, therapists in-house as well. And one of them in particular had a giant trans flag up in their office. Giant. It took up almost an entire wall. Now, I found that to be one of the most disturbing things there, because if you've ever gone to a therapist before, you're put into a very vulnerable state. And having something like that just blazing down on you when you're in such a vulnerable, easily manipulated state, maybe even disassociated, and that thing staring you down, what's that going to do to you? Okay. And this was hard. This was all very hard for me. Luckily, two of the girls, I want to say about half the girls there were trans, or they identified as something in that whole spectrum of gender. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, the gender, sex and gender thing. And I got two of them to talk them. I talked to them. All it took was just talking to them, and not only that, but being who I am, a straight white man, right? The girls, they never met anyone like me before. Their lives were surrounded by the worst kinds of people. And when they're placed into the system, all those women, mostly it's like 99% women, 90+% women, are all about pushing that fucking trans bullshit like you wouldn't fucking believe. So their whole lives were just surrounded by these like bunch of queer retards. And so the programming that my coworkers would do, and like this, so my coworkers, they weren't there to help them. They were there to validate themselves, because the whole mentality is based off of hyper victimization. You're a victim. Oh, I'm a victim. It's always I'm a victim of everything. They never teach the girls to be strong, find strength within who they are and what they've been through. It's all about being the victim. Everything that happens to you from the moment you were born and forever, you're gonna be a victim, and you gotta cry about it, and you gotta be weak, and it's like there's nothing to learn, there's nothing to gain. You're just a victim. Everybody is out to get you, right? And I can see that, but the means in which they taught it was based on an agenda. And it was fucking crazy to witness. The reason why I left was because my coworkers would report me. I was reported about 4 times to my management about stuff, and it had nothing to do with the girls. Nothing. It only had to do with my coworkers and them being offended by this straight white man that doesn't believe what I believe. Oh, I'm so offended. I'm a victim. Oh my God. I have to report on them. Oh God. Big brother, please. So, for instance, the last time I got reported was I took the girls out, and I took them out disc golfing, and that was my big thing. Was when I was working and I was doing the programming, and if I was on, there were 2 floors. If I was on the floor, I was in charge of the floor. That was just how things worked out. It didn't matter how senior my coworkers were. I was always the leader of the floor. And when I was working, my programming was, we're going outside. We're getting out of this shithole. We're going outside to do something fun. One of my favorite things was disc golfing. So, took them out disc golfing, and then after disc golfing, we went to for a beach ride down by the beach. And one of the girls, there was 3 of them, one of the girls asked another girl, how do I do that pen ink tattoo? I can't remember. It was like a name for it, but it's like that thing they do in prison where they take pen ink and make tattoos and shit. Really stupid. I mean, these girls, they're in the system, right? They've been in it for almost their entire life, at least consciously. And they were like, oh, I'm like, what? So, I mean, anyway, it's like prison culture stuff. And not only that, but all these girls, they listen to shit music. They listen to that shitty gangster rap, mumble rap, drug rap, shit, pill popping rap, whatever you want to call it, that shitty music. If they were around me, they weren't listening to any of that. We were either listening to oldies, like 50s, 60s, 70s, or classical music. The good stuff. And, so when she asked another one of the girls, how do I do one of these tattoos? And I'm like, you really just asked that question in front of me? And I was there for like 6, I think it was like 8 months at that point. So these girls knew me very well. And one of the things that they'll do is they'll test people. It's a high turnover rate job. Mostly people leave because it's a very stressful job because of the girls. I did not have that issue. That was not the issue for me. Because like, some of the girls, they're violent, they'll attack you and all this type of stuff, but I didn't have that issue. So for me, it was my coworkers. And so, and one of the things that they'll do is they'll test you. They'll try to, they like to poke and prod you to see where your limits are, right? But the thing is, these girls, like, they love doing it to me. They love asking really weird questions to each other when I was around, because they knew how I was, and they wanted to get a response out of me. And they tried doing it a lot because they were going to get educated. So when she did it, I was like, oh, hey, guess what? Time for a lecture, okay? And I gave them a lecture on how stupid tattoos are, that you don't need to have these external expressions. You don't have to like show off with a bunch of fancy tattoos and clothes and try to look cool. You don't need to do that. You don't need to impress people with how you look. Try to be cool with these fads or whatever, and look at, I got a tattoo. What you want to do is you want to focus on your inside, on your inner self. You want to improve your inner self, because that's what shines the most. At the end of the day, if you fall for someone, either friend or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is, family, whatever, if it's based off of external appearances, that's gonna fall. That relationship is not gonna last. You need to focus on your inner self, who you are, how you talk, how you relate, what are your beliefs, who are you? What have you been through, and how can you express that? So I gave him that lecture. Told him listen, tattoos are for losers. Tattoos are for losers. And when we got back, all the girls talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, they all talk. They all share everything about the day and all that stuff, and no gossip or whatever. And so they talked about that lecture I gave them. And one of my coworkers overheard it. And this is how fucking retarded these people are. They took that lecture I gave the girls as a personal attack, not for them, right? Not for that coworker, but for another coworker. And let me just go back and tell you, all these people that I work with, they were all tatted up. They got tattoos up the ass. I mean, they were full on. They look like, inner city hood fucking graffiti walls. They look like my notebook from middle school and high school with all the doodles and squiggly lines and smiley faces and shit. Like, they look like shit. One of them has piercings, like 20 something piercings on his face, and this guy was a full on fag. 20 something piercings all over up his nose, through his eyebrows, through his ears, and then in his cheeks and shit. And I mean, big dude, like 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, fat kid, but wore dresses. Like, it was fucking, I mean, let me tell you, working in this environment was hard. It was hard, man. So, that coworker that reported me thought that the lecture I gave those girls was about that coworker with all the piercings and shit. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is how fucking weak and victimized and all this bullshit. And because the state, like, people think that, like, oh, it's all dying down now because of Trump and all. It's not dying down at all. At all. And if you say anything against them, you're going to be called a bigot, right? A transphobe, or whatever the fuck. And so I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, these people, like, they were trying to sabotage me while I was there. because I'm a straight white man, right? Even though all my coworkers were white, except for like one of them, and it was actually the black chick I work with. She was actually the one I got along with the most, which is pretty fucking hilarious, considering the hyper victim. Like let me tell you, you're never gonna meet a more weak-minded person than liberal white women. They are fucking the worst. So I'm just gonna rant about privilege for a second. You want to talk about being a white dude, right? I have never been privileged my entire fucking life. Not once. Where is this white privilege? Because I want some of it. I need some of that white privilege, bad. Where's that shit at? If you want to talk about privilege, look at women. And it doesn't matter what race they're from. White, Asian, black, whatever. Jew. They're the most privileged fucking people in the world. If you want to start a business in New Hampshire, the state I'm in, and it's probably like this in every state, if you're a woman, you get business loans, you get licensing, you get legal stuff either discounted or for free or expedited or however you want to put it, constantly. What the fuck is that bullshit? That's just one thing. This isn't even dealing with just life in general. And like I said, 90% of all the people in this type of environment, this like social work type of thing, are all women. So going back to this coworker reported me, and management there, even though they understood my outlook and they, and my disagreements with them, they loved me because I was the best one there. I was the one that was actually affecting these girls' lives in the most positive way imaginable. I was making them smart, intelligent, critically thinking, culturally wise, instead of this ghetto bullshit. This ghetto victimizing welfare state fucking bullshit that they all grew up with. And when I spoke to management about it, whenever I was reported, they were like, yeah, I know, it's just, we just gotta talk to you and all this shit. But I was done with it. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I can't fucking stand this type of sabotaging, this type of shit coming from my coworkers. I thought they were supposed to be inclusive. Like all inclusive, but they weren't inclusive to me. I put up with their bullshit, trying to call, I'm a they, them. I tried to call them they, them, but listen, you're a fucking woman. I'm gonna if I say her or she, listen, that's just how it is, okay? That's just how it is. And it was fucking nuts. I fucking hate it. I feel so bad for those girls. My coworkers, all these, it doesn't stop at my coworkers. All these trans faggots, the only way they can reproduce is through a mind virus. Through passing on this mental virus, this ideological virus, a curse. It's a curse, and I'm going to get into that. Implanting it into someone else's mind. And that's what they've done. That's what they're continuing to do, is implant this stuff into children's minds. That's why they like little girls, because they're vulnerable. Little boys, not so much. I remember talking to some of the people that worked at the all-boys facilities, and they're like, no, we don't have any of that trans problem here. We're all good here. They didn't have all that trans flags and all that bullshit hanging up. I'm like, what? Okay, that's interesting. They pass this. It only comes. The only reason some of these girls buy into it is because they were sexually assaulted themselves. Because it's a mental disorder. It's a mental disease. It's a virus. It's a dis-ease. A diseasement of the mind. So that's how they reproduce. Man, there's shotgun shells all over the place. I really need to get out to a shooting range and use up some ammo. But so yeah, that's how they reproduce. That's the only way they can reproduce. Now going on to this whole like the curse that it's a curse that they put on these girls. I'll tell you, when you hear a curse word, right? Whenever people think curse words, they think of like, fuck or shit or damn, stuff like that, right? That's a curse word. That's not a curse word. Curse word is something like gender or like, gender as opposed to sex, right? Even though we all know what it really means. It's just you're a man or a woman. And that's a curse word. The they, them thing, that's a curse. Love is another curse word. The gender thing, right? You can be a whole spectrum of genders. What do you mean? What are you talking about? No, you can't. You're not a dog. You're not a cat. You got werewolf genders and all this weird shit. Like, dude, it's a mental disorder. You've been put under a curse. Your mind has been altered. Your mind is in a state of derangement. I remember the girls were talking about one time how they were like, oh, there's that like, there's those people that are born with like, weird genitalia problems and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's called a genetic disorder. That's not anything special. Like that's just a genetic disorder. That's how it is. They're less than 1%, like a fraction of 1% of the population. And it just so happens that they're generally born in like India or Southeast Asia, these shitholes where they eat poison and toxic food constantly. They got all these weird ass chemicals and shit. Disease is rampant, like 6-legged people, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's a genetic disorder. I remember one time too, one of my coworkers was like, oh, gender is like, what's your name? And what if I called you another name? What if I was calling you Bill or Bob? What if I called you whatever I wanted to? I'm like, a name is made up. You are not your name. You weren't born with something stamped on your forehead saying that this is Bill or Bob. That doesn't happen. A name is made up. Your parents just give you a name. It could be whatever the fuck. I mean, look at the names people have now. It could be anything. And that's what they think gender is. It's just a mental disease. It's a curse. It doesn't exist. There's no fucking gender bullshit. Are you a man or a woman? That's it. It's as simple as that. Language is magic. Language itself is magic. If you look at magic, it's all about people casting spells, right? What are they doing when they're casting a spell? They're spelling out words. They're doing some weird chanting with words, sound waves, things like that. That's magic. Magic is language is programming, like code, computer code, right? A computer, if you mess up the coding, it doesn't even function anymore. Right? That's like a virus. Virus messes around with the code and all that shit. That's a virus. That's the same thing with language. They implant little viruses into the language to fuck it all up, to fuck up the coding in your brain. The most powerful spell a person can do is to stop thinking with words. Because remember, language is just made up. Language is just made up. It's fake. It doesn't exist. There's no... A rose is a rose, right? A rose is a rose is a rose. It is what it is. That tree, this tree here, that's a type of tree. This is that type of tree. That's that type of bush. This is that type of, plant here, there. It is what it is. You can give it any name you want, but it still is what it is. It doesn't matter. Language is just made up. It does not exist in reality. It's a code. It's programming code. You weren't born with it. You were implanted with it. If you look at MRIs and shit of like brain structures of people from all over the world, and you look at, people from Japan, or people that speak Japanese their whole life, or, English, German, Russian, some weird ass African clicky language, their brains are structured differently. It's coding. And the key to break that coding is to stop using it, to stop thinking with it. Because once you stop thinking with the programming, then you see reality for what it is. You no longer have this filter of biased, veiled, disguised things because of this coding that was implanted into your mind. You just see things for what they are. Just for what they are. It's simple as that. Use language as a tool. Like Babylon. This is one of the big things going on now is people just babble on and on and on. Babbling. Just babbling. Blah, 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 about fucking what? Sports, politics, fucking whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Instagram, fucking whatever it is that people talk about. Stupid celebrity shit. Oh my God, man. Babble on and on. And that's Babylon. It's the language. It's just bullshit. It's all fake. It's all made up. I mean, look at politicians. Politicians, they put people under the spell all the time. What's that Marina Abramovich, that one Jew witchess, the fucking sorceress, disgusting woman? She was like, oh, Trump is the greatest magician there is. He's the greatest sorcerer that's ever lived. She said that. And you can see why. He really is. I mean, he has fully put everyone under his spell. Whether you hate him or you love him, he's got you in his trap. And that's what politicians do. They just blah, 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 blah. They talk. Talk. But they never do what they're really going to say. You notice that though, right? That's because it doesn't exist. They just put you into an imaginative, suspended state, this weird existence of in and out of reality. That's all they do. They are the modern day magicians. When you look at, people like Rasputin or Aleister Crowley or, what's her name? Blavatsky and all these fucking people. All they are just scammers, hucksters, snake oil salesmen. Because it's all a rich man's game. they just give out all these like ambiguous mysteries. Like you got these mystery schools, the Freemasons, I was a Rosicrucian for a little while, the Amorc Rosicrucian. These mystery schools are all about the mysteries, and you gotta contemplate the symbolism and all this type of wondrous things that you'll never understand it. You'll never get an answer, but you'll be wrapped up in this little box of theirs of mysteries and superstition and hypnosis and shit. And that's for rich people. That's a luxury. That shit's a luxury. Rich people are so bored of their lives that they just have to fucking make up a bunch of weird cultish bullshit to justify their fucking sex trafficking of minors and shit, and it's abusing people, and they have to wrap it up in these like holier than thou sanctimonious type of bullshit, witchcraft, sorcery type of shit. That's what they do. That's the reality of it. It's not real. It's all fake. It's all fake. They always want you to pay. You always got to pay. You even got to pay for church. If you want to be, Christianity is a load of shit. All of them are. Every religion is. But you got to pay for it somehow, some way. You got to pay. Right? Why you got to pay? Why you got to pay? Why you got to tithe, huh? Why? Fuck off. You know why? It's because reality is right here in front of you. It's staring you right in the face. What's that saying? You can't see the forest through the trees. You're right there, buddy. You're right there, lady. You're right there. Reality is right there in front of your fucking face. It's nuts. Another example. So when I was living in Pennsylvania, I was doing satellite communications. And that was a 365, 24/7 type of job with the rotating schedule. And I worked every hour of the day. It was brutal. Worst work schedule anyone could possibly imagine. And, when you're sitting, working a 12-hour shift at night, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., all you do is just sit in front of computers all day watching satellite numbers on your screen. It's nuts. It'll drive you nuts. Sleep schedule's all fucked up, so for me, I wanted to get outside and go for walks and stuff, and I did this job, at this one job in Pennsylvania. I did it for like 8-9 years. And, one of the things was, I'd go for a walk at night, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you name it. I would, whenever I had time, I would go for a walk. And I went for a walk. I was working in a very nice suburb of Philadelphia. Middle class, upper middle class. Very wealthy. And across the street from where I worked was a park, just a typical suburban park with baseball fields and soccer fields, tennis ball courts, stuff like that. And around the fields was a nice little, kind of like this, except nicer. It was like a sandy, gravelly type of pathway that went around the entire park. And I'll go out there for a walk, and there's one time, and at this point, I think I was doing this job for maybe 5 years at that point. And I've done this, I don't know how many hundreds of times already. And this one time, I was walking around the park, and then, left the park, left the trail, went off to the sidewalk to cross the street to get back to work. And when I was going across the street, the 2 cop cars came, barreling out from the stoplight that was around the corner, turned their lights on, and just hit the gas like no one's business. And I was like, oh shit, something's going on. So I, crossed the street, and just all of a sudden, they stopped their cars right in front of me, I'm like, okay. Got out of their cars, two cop cars, mind you. It's just me, just one random dude in khakis and a button-up t-shirt, button-up shirt, probably a long sleeve. Look, just like a normal person. Like, they come up to me, like, exasperated and aghast at seeing me. Like, what were you doing out there? Didn't you see us looking for you? I'm like, no. Like they said that they were looking for me, right? When I was walking along this trail, I'm like, I didn't see shit. Like I was just walking along, I didn't see fucking anything. They're like, we were shining the light out into the. I'm like, dude, I didn't see anything, man. I've been doing this for years, and they're like, you can't be out there. You're not allowed out there. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that park is only open from dawn to dusk. I'm like, what does that mean? It's a public park. I can be out there whenever I want to. They're like, no, it's a town ordinance. It closes at dusk and you can't be out there. I'm like, dude, I've been walking in this park for years. I don't know what you're talking about. At literally all hours of the day. Like literally all hours of the day. And so eventually they just took my name, my address, and all the, my information, where I worked and shit. And I'm like, all right. Just don't do it again. I'm like, whatever. I don't fucking, yeah, right. I kept walking in the park after that because, this is like years. I was doing it. And all of a sudden, this one time, all of a sudden, a cop. And so, here's the point. That law, right? What happens at dusk? Is there a force field? Does a magical force field all of a sudden appear over this exact property, this public property, where all of a sudden I can't enter it? Oh, you can't get in here. It's impassable. No, that doesn't happen, obviously. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. It's some bullshit curse put on people because probably some fucking cunt boomers, the wealthiest generation that has probably ever existed in recorded history, had everything handed to them, spoiled as fuck. We're like, we don't want this park open from dusk till dawn. Like, fucking boomers, man, are fucked in the head. Truly fucked. And they made this law in these fucking privileged fucking towns with their shit tons of money. Maybe because they were scared of drug addicts. Oh God, listen, if someone want to do drugs out in this park, the dusk till dawn law is not gonna fucking stop them. Like, how do they not understand this shit? It's the same thing with gun laws. Like, oh, we're gonna ban guns. Well, that just means the criminals are going to have guns. Like, you think they give a fuck if you ban them? They're still going to fucking get them. They still get them in all those other countries. Like, what the... you stupid motherfuckers, man. This is how stupid... people are fucking stupid. People are fucking just... they are naturally stupid. Like, people want to see ourselves as some kind of special... spiritual, this soul of like this great thing that is, oh God, we're not that. We are fucking stupid as fuck. Why ever we're here, and it's not through evolution. Evolution's fake. Big Bang, the whole fucking heliocentric bullshit. You're on a oblate spheroid moving millions of miles per hour in all these directions and shit. Like, that's all bullshit. That's all witchcraft. Holy crap, look at that fucking... damn, that's a big one. Spraying the skies. But, that's all bullshit, right? I don't know how we got here. I don't know what's really going on here. We live in some type of realm. We live in some type of plane, right? But I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how people got here. It's like maybe there's some kind of genetic manipulation going on with other creatures, or who the fuck knows, right? Like, no one knows anything really when you comes down to it. And oh god, he thinks we live on a plane. Oh, what a fucking retard. Like people are listen. People are fucking stupid. People are brutally stupid. And just to bring up real quick, there's fucking I see one of the big things that these flat earthers went out to Antarctica and shit. Like, dude, that video is so bullshit. It's so fucking stupid. And let's just say, like, with the sun stays the same, like the same exact fucking what do you call it, lens flare and shit, like the whole time. Are you like? So people are fucking stupid. Everything is just through TV. Anything but going out to see reality. Anything but seeing what's in front of your face. It always has to do with what's on the fucking internet. What does the internet, what does the TV tell me? Instead of viewing reality and without that little filter of fucking words and brainwashing. It's unbelievable. But anyways, going back to that whole law shit. It's more magic, right? There's no magic barrier force field that appears out of nowhere all of a sudden at dusk to stop me from going in there. It's only a bunch of fucking piece of shit people that want to stop you from having any fun or freedom. It's the same thing all the time. Just people cursing each other. These are curses. These are real curses. Always cursing each other. Forget swear words. I'm talking about real curses to the human mind and to whatever your being is, whether or not there's a soul or not. Curse upon curse upon curse. It's disgusting. So, anyways, what else? Let's talk about another thing about a curse. So if you didn't get my point, stop thinking with words. There may be an impact to your ability to speak, because I kind of noticed that when I started doing it. Like, my vocabulary kind of got reduced a bit, and I'm like, whatever. It's magic in general is just like a self-hypnosis. It's all about this like power of thought and whatever. I used to read about all that. I used to read so much of that. You name it. You name a school of thought, a religion, some occultism, some school of magic, from Egyptian, Greco-Egyptian, the fucking Solomonic to, whatever, Crowleyan, you name it, been there, done that, fucking Hindu, Buddhist, fuck Christian, whatever, dude. You guys name it, been there, done that. It's all crock of shit. I'm not gonna keep going on about that, but another one is, isn't that amazing how it just stopped right there? All right. Seeing those things start up and stop is just cringe. But so I'm going to talk a bit about self-sufficiency and just trying to escape the game, this giant curse that we're living in right now. And I'm going to be honest, there's really no fully escaping it. Like, you're going to have to deal with the system no matter what happens. We see the world is a shithole. It's always been a shithole. Nature sucks. I'm going to be straightforward. Nature sucks. Just the fact that parasites exist. Just the fact that parasite class of creatures exist just goes to prove that this entire realm is designed or manifested through some fucked up piece of shit. Whether it's a singular thing or a multitude of things, that created this place. It is a fucked up place. Truly fucked up. And parasites, man, holy shit. Nature fucking hates you. Like, how long have I spent in bare nature, whether it was hiking, camping, or living off my bicycle for like a year and a half, whatever it was. I've spent a lot of time out there, and it fucking sucks. It's nice, rarely, and those rarely nice occasions are pretty nice. But it's because we're designed for it. That's what we grew up. Most of our ancestry comes through subsistence farmers, through people in nature. But the only reason we can do it is because because we dominate nature. We can't live in nature. We're not equipped for it. We don't have fur. We don't have claws. We don't have instincts. We're just a bunch of fucking retards. The only way we can do it is because we have some form of intelligence to manipulate nature and dominate it. That's the only reason why. Because you got a tent, because you got water filters, because you all that shit. That's the only reason why it's any bit nice. Like, if I were to sit down right here, within 5 minutes, I would probably have like 5 ticks on me. Like, that sucks. Like, nature sucks. Nature sucks. So, but, what else you got? So the best thing a person can do is one of those things is realize that independence, this concept of independence, and this kind of goes back on that fucking curse called feminism that has totally fucked our society in the past like 100 or so years. Feminism is one of the dumbest fucking things in the world. It's just like trans, it's a curse, it's a fucking victim bullshit. And when we glorify victims, when we start glorifying victims, especially over nonsense, like literal nonsense, like society's gonna collapse. Society's gonna collapse when that happens. And it's already collapsed. And our world is getting ready to morph into something else. Like, you can see we're morphing into whatever it is. We essentially already live in a global world, a global technocracy, oligarchy, however you want to put it. No matter who you want to blame, if you want to blame the Jews or the Zionists, whatever, it doesn't matter who you blame, because the thing is, they're all in on it. Like, you don't see the Emperor of Japan, you don't see any of these people calling out Jews or Zionists, right? They don't give a fuck. The Muslim leaders, Christian leaders, like whoever it is, they're all in on it. They're all about it. They're all about that fucking New World Order. And it's going to happen. Like, you're not going to stop it. None of us are going to stop it. So the best thing we can do is just view reality for what it is, for what's going on, what is in our control. And one of the issues is this independence thing. No one is truly independent. Like, first of all, you were born from two people, right? We all have a mother and a father. So that right there just kind of breaks that. The shirt on your back right now, it took thousands of people to get that shirt on your back. If you're one of these people that lives in a suburb or an inner city, it takes hundreds of thousands of people to support your life. You're not an independent woman or man. You're not independent. You rely on more people than has ever existed, probably, in recorded history for sure, but who knows how long. You rely on more people than any other time that we know of. You're not independent. Most people don't even know how to change a tire on a car. So living off grid is not really a thing. That's not really going to happen. What are you going to do when you need new underwear? When you need new boots? What are you going to do when your boots wear out, huh? And you got no socks, and your socks are all full of holes and shit. You need the system. You can't live without it. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Best thing that people can do is just get a plot of land with a natural source of water. That's probably the best setup, because if you have a source of water, then you can pretty much do whatever. I mean, it doesn't even matter what kind of terrain you're on. If you have a source of water, you can terraform it into whatever you want it to be. And then maybe plump down a little house, maybe even some kind of trailer home, whatever, anything that you can afford. You need to have skills, you need to have tools, you need to know how to work the land, you need to know a lot of things. And the issue is that if you're gonna do it on your own, you're looking at next to impossible task ahead of you. That's gonna be almost impossible for a single person to do. You need other people. Like I said, you're gonna need new boots at some point. You're gonna need tools. You're gonna need things to get replaced, maintenance, things like that. Maybe even a vet, something like that along the line. Because nature sucks. Parasites, disease is everywhere. So that's the best, try to find, like if I could have, I would have, maybe married an Amish girl and went into their whole society. Cause listen, at this point I'll put up with Christians. I don't fucking care. Amish, I don't give a fuck. I'll go to their church. I may not have to, I may not believe it, but I'll put up with it. It's a lot better than putting up with fucking bunch of cunt feminists and trans queers. I'll tell you that much. You're not going to find people that are just like you. That's not going to happen. You're not going to find an entire community of people. There's always going to be disagreements, always going to be trouble, drama, whatever the fuck. Best thing a person can do is just find something adjacent to you. Get used to it. Just deal with it. We got to remember that we are just one mortal life. Who knows what happens after this? Kind of dealing with the stuff I was talking about earlier. One of the things, I used to be a hardcore Christian, super hardcore. And, one of the things I was always skeptical about was when you die, you go to heaven or hell, and, you're going to be you forever. And first of all, how do you, if you're dead, if you don't have a body, how do you speak? How do you think when you have no physicality? This is why I'm kind of on the line of is there really a spiritual realm and all these other dimensions? Is there really I don't know, because I mean, how can you have physicality without, how can you be real, right? How can something be real without any physicality to it? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I'm not even 100% on any of this stuff. It's just me thinking, right? But imagine being you, right? If this heaven and hell thing was real. Imagine being you forever. Forever. Eternity. Forever. Ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. That would suck. I think that would suck. Those girls I work with, the things that these girls are damaged. They are damaged, and they are not only that, but they are hopped up on psychiatric drugs like you wouldn't believe. They eat cafeteria food all day. These are lifelong traumas that these kids will never escape. Imagine having to be you forever. That is hell. That is a living hell. And I'll say, if there's one thing I'm thankful for, is death. I am thankful that death exists. Because I could not imagine having to fucking put up with literally 99.999999% of the people that exist right now. It would be torture. It would be torture having anyone that calls themselves a Christian, I have almost never, basically never, liked them. I've met millionaires who call themselves a Christian. Are you fucking kidding me? So, I don't know, what was I saying? What was I going off about that? The world is unjust. Oh yeah, I think I was talking about, let me finish off on this. Love. Love is witchcraft. Did I already talk about this? I can't remember. But love is another curse. If you love someone and you stop loving them, did you really love them at all? Love is just a bunch of other words. That's all it is. Responsibility, intimacy, sex. That's about it. Care, you want to care for someone. That's it. Because the way people describe, especially in the biblical sense, where God loves you, and I think love comes from the Bible. The whole Bible is a curse, massive curse upon man. And you love someone. Well, what does that mean? Like if I have a kid and the kid's in trouble and getting attacked, I love them, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna protect them, right? That's not love. That's responsibility. That's your offspring. You very likely need that offspring to help you in the future. You want to see them and nurture them and take care of them so that they grow up in a happy, healthy life. And that doesn't even go for all the parents either. That actually doesn't go for probably the majority of parents in the world. That actually, what some healthy-minded person considers to be loving their child, they don't. Look at the girls that I took care of. They were not loved. They were tortured. They were traumatized. Love is a curse. Love does not exist. It's not some kind of transcendental, fucking unseen force that is ineffable and unseeable and unknowable. You can experience emotions, a range of emotions. You can experience those. Those are real. You can feel them and you go through them. You can see them in other people. You can witness it. Love is not one of them. Are you fucking someone? It's reproduction. Listen, everybody loves fucking, right? It feels good, right? That's not love. Love is not fucking. So yeah. Man, look at that lens flare on that sun, huh? That's crazy. But anyways, I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about. I think that's pretty much it. Yep. Anyways, hope everyone is doing well. I hope you all do well. Just keep on keeping on. The best thing you can do is just, make do with what you got and keep going. Life is not easy at all. For the vast majority of us, it is not easy. It's very hard. There is no such thing as justice. Justice is another one of those curse words. Does not exist. Justice does not exist. Nature does not exhibit justice. The world is unjust. But the world is the world. We can't save it. In my little world, I can't save the whole world. I wouldn't want to save the whole world. That's insane. It's impossible. It's not going to be done. The powers that be, and whatever it is, whatever that force is that's behind the powers that be, this, whatever it is, who knows, some kind of weird-ass creature that's existed forever, or a group of them, or some shit that used to exist eons and eons ago. Who knows? Who knows? You're not going to change it. The best thing a person can do is just make do with what they can, obtain knowledge, find contentment. You're not going to be happy all the time. You're not going to be happy all the time. Just like it's just another emotion that you're going to go through here and there. Best thing to do is find contentment and just be at peace with whatever you're doing. Try to put yourself in that situation. If you're not in that situation, try to get into that situation. And the world that you can affect is the little world that you live in. The little world that is right in front of you. The people around you, the objects you interact with, things like that. That's what you can affect. That's what I can affect. That's what I try to do, is affect my world, my little environment, a little better, here and there as much as I can. Nothing huge, you know. Because let me tell you, I've been doing this. I've been trying to, wake people up, quote unquote, wake people up for over 2 decades, whether it's about 9/11 or just, police being fucking retards or COVID or anything. You name it, whatever. I'm trying to wake people up. You're not going to wake them up. It ain't worth it. Ain't worth the hassle. Just stick with what you know. Get some, learn things that are cool. Like, I'm an expert in nutrition. I'm better than any dietitian or nutritionist you'll ever meet, because they're all a bunch of FDA shills. I'm actually looking to heal and cure people. Got some live streams on that shit already. But yeah, so take it easy, everybody. This is it for the day. Maybe I'll put out another video pretty soon. I gotta go to the beach. I was at the beach the other week, but it got so cold out so quick. But anyways, take it easy.